I was lucky enough to see the Sequence and the Trovato literally side by side on the dealership, and I test drove them both. They drove pretty much the same because they're both on the Dodge ProMaster chassis. These are the reasons why I would go for the Thor Sequence if I wanted a wet bath, which is a toilet and a shower. I ultimately decided that I don't need a wet bath, and so that's partly why I decided not to get the Thor. But I didn't come to that decision until I had a problem with the dealership. A list of pros and cons of the Winnebago Travato first, before I go into the 14 reasons the Thor Sequence 20K or L is what I think is the best buy. So with the Winnebago Travato, the pros of it are it's a better build and quality. So Winnebago has quite a strong manufacturing reputation, and they also have great customer service. Based on what two dealerships have told me, they really prefer selling the Winnebago over the Thor. There was a porcelain toilet in the Winnebago Travato, and the Sequence, the Thor, had a plastic toilet. And I thought that might be harder to clean, it might get grungy, so I really liked the porcelain, although of course porcelain is heavier than plastic. The Trovato had a better mosquito screen system, I thought, better insulation. I liked the fabric on the seats much better than the Sequence. The cupboard doors in the Trovato lock, they have that holding lock. The Trovato had windows that open, which is better ventilation. More windows that open than the Thor Sequence 20K. And the lithium ion battery in the Trovato is much more efficient and lasts much longer than, of course, the Thor, which was just a regular deep cycle battery. The Trovato, because it has a darker finish on the wood, it seemed like on the rainy day that I was there, it seemed like a darker interior. Whereas the Sequence, even though it was a rainy day, because it was bright, because the cupboards were bright white, it just seemed much brighter and much nicer. The sliding doors I'd mentioned to the wet bath, I like that it was they were sliding versus the accordion, which did feel quite cheap to me. I liked the shower curtain better on the Sequence. I also knew that it had the Winegard Wi-Fi booster and a Pioneer radio, which were both better than what was in the Trovato. There was the touch screen control panel and the app. I really liked the layout of the Sequence, even though I didn't buy it. I loved that it had the Thule accessories installed. So there's a bike rack, the ladder. It had pull-out pet dishes as well. I'm way past 14 reasons to buy the Sequence, and I hope I'm not convincing myself that I should buy it after all. Too late, bought something else. I like the pull-out pet dishes, so there's 2 in there, and so you could put your cat food and dog food in there. And then of course it has the Thor Sequence 20K and L. Both have solar panels, a generator, and a battery system for power. And of course the cushion, I loved it. It had a little cushion with 2 built-in cup holders, and you can move it. You move it all over the place. So that was, I really liked that. The cons, I didn't like of the Thor Sequence, the 50L and the 20L and 20K. The cons, the plastic toilet, I didn't like that, but it is lighter and cheaper. So that's part of the reason why Thor is able to keep the cost of the Sequence down. The mosquito screen system on the Thor was a little cheap. It was already damaged a little bit on the rig that we saw, so I knew it was gonna get damaged with me just using it, with closing and opening the screens, so that seemed a little cheap. That would need to be reinforced somehow. And the Sequence, the back doors don't open, and I guess people were worried about that. I've heard complaints that it would not be good for ventilation with the back windows not open. So what happened was I did decide to buy the Thor, the Sequence, and I actually talked to the dealer and called to put down a $5,000 deposit. We had negotiated a price, and then he said, well, I want to have the ability to change the price in case the Canadian dollar falls, and if I have to pay more for this, he said it's a really tight deal, which it was. I got a good deal on a new. I didn't want to buy the one on the lot. I wanted a new order. And he said it's a tight deal, so I'm not going to be able to commit to this price until I know how much I'm going to pay for it. And so I said, well, yeah, I'm not going to renegotiate with you in a month or two. And I went back to the Pleasure-Way 2021 Tofino, but thought it doesn't have a toilet or a shower and I can't live without that. But then the more I thought about it and the more research I did, and then when it kind of fell through with this Sequence, I decided I gotta go see a Pleasure-Way Tofino in person. And am I gonna like it? I loved it. It's smaller, but I'm only 5 feet tall, and it's got lots of great stuff, which I can't even tell you right now because I've already way too long. So I hope this has helped you a little bit. If you want to share what you think, feel free to do that below, but be nice because this is my first video.